You've always wanted to do portrait photography on a professional level, land clients, leave your 9-to-5 job and turn this into your full-time career. But it feels like a hobby to you and clients smell that. You think that just because you're not making money from this, that it isn't a business and you treat it as such. So the first reason why you feel like your photography is like a hobby rather than a business, you think that no money equals no business. So a mindset shift that I want you to make right now, if you want to turn anything into your business, you don't half-ass it or half-ass it. Don't make that excuse of like, oh, it isn't making me much money, so it's not really worth pursuing on a professional level or trying to take it seriously. And by the way, comment down below if you used to think like this. How do you think I was able to build this business and build my portfolio that lands me consistent clients? Obviously, I had other responsibilities in my life, but I still took my portrait photography seriously. I invested time, I invested money, my energy, my focus into photography, and it wasn't just my gear. I started to budget my own passion projects to build up my portfolio in a more professional way to attract high quality clients. I just spend time trying to master my craft as a portrait photographer, even buying courses. I would go to networking events to find new opportunities. I would also cold outreach to big professional photographers to shadow to gain more experience. Now, after only 3 years, I've been able to turn this into my full-time job. I land regular clients that are open to my creativity and I create amazing work. You can see the photos on the screen. And by the way, if you want to get into my position 10 times faster than I did and eventually quit your 9-to-5 job, the Portfolio Mastery 2.0 course in the top link below is going to turn that into a reality. So click the top link below to check it out. When I was building up my business, I was making money from all sorts of different types of jobs, weddings, events, etc., and some portraits too. And yeah, overall, I wasn't really making that much money from this business, but I still treated it as if I was making 6 figures. So yeah, you need to make that mindset shift and start by taking this seriously and treating it as if it was your full-time job, because clients can smell it and they're gonna see and tell within you as a photographer. You see it in the social media marketing, like how you market yourself on social media. How often do you post on Instagram? Or do you even have a website? Do you have a professional email? How established is your portfolio? You want to take this seriously now. The one thing that I would suggest you do, allocate a time slot every single week where you're just going to breathe, think and breathe photography. Like you allocate a specific time block within a day, whenever that is on your calendar, and where you're just going to think and breathe photography. That's the only thing that you're going to do is just photography related things. It could be watching my videos, it could be buying the course and learning even more about your portrait photography. It could be stuff to do with like organizing a photo shoot, making a website, learning about how you can market yourself on social media, etc. And it doesn't have to be a crazy amount. As long as you spend time, a consistent amount of time doing this, that is what will maximize your progress. You could literally just spend a few hours a week. That is it. Not like, oh, 8 hours a day or something like that. You could spend a few hours a week to eventually like making that transition into turning this into a career. Because I'm going to go on a little rant here. You probably know people, and there's too many people out there that want to start a business, but they have a 9-to-5 job and they get really complacent because like, oh, my 9-to-5 job is paying me and it's paying my bills, so I'm going to take that more seriously and put more focus into that rather than the thing that you actually want to do. Sometimes you've got to make a little bit of sacrifice. I'm not telling you to completely just quit your job, but what I'm trying to say is that it's very easy, if you actually learn about how you can do it, it's very easy to balance out your job with your photography. And people just think like, oh, you're not making money from it, so it's just a hobby and you shouldn't take it that seriously. Then like technically if you're not making any money from that photography, technically it is a hobby, but it's a mindset shift now. You want to almost treat it as if it is your business. Even if you're not making a single penny or cent from it, you want to treat it like it is your full-time business, because that is the only way how you're going to be able to make that transition from a hobbyist to a professional. You don't just like treat it like a hobby and then all of a sudden it will build up and eventually become super professional. Like, no, you need to start by taking it seriously from now on. Like literally act as if the only way you're going to be able to pay your bills is if you focus on your photography, is if you work on your photography on a consistent basis. Again, I'm not telling you to quit your job or anything like that or anything stupid like that, but I'm telling you to actually spend more time with it. Spend more time, and also make sure that time is productive and valuable. And the second reason why your photography feels like a hobby and not a business is your investment into your photography stopped at your gear. Because you bought the camera and lenses and you thought, that's where all the clients are gonna come now, I'm only gonna be making money from now on, I made that investment, now I'm gonna only be making positive amount of money, more money coming through. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Now, next up on the investment category, photo shoot projects. On this channel, I tell you to do genius shoots. Genius shoots are a term that I've coined, and it's basically where you plan, budget, and source a team for your shoots. I'll link a video up here that you can check out that goes into much more detail about genius shoots, but in this video, I want to discuss the budgeting side of the photo shoot. So this is where you want to be putting money towards your photo shoots to maximize the potential, essentially. Book out a studio, that costs money. Styling maybe, to get professional styling done. If you want to shoot on film, you have to spend money on film and development. I personally shoot on film. I've got a Mamiya RB67 right here, my big camera, medium format camera. I spend I think a roll of film usually costs around $15 per roll, $10 per roll, and then the film developing costs like $15, $16 per roll too. So I spend a lot of money on that. Other things that you can buy, renting out gear. So if you don't already own gear, or like own the gear that you wanted for that photo shoot, you can rent out gear. Obviously maybe location permits, maybe, or whatever it is. You can be more creative over here. Think about what you could invest your money into in your photo shoots. I would especially argue that putting money and investing money into your photo shoots is way more important than investing money into your gear. Like I remember I was speaking to a photographer on my program, by the way, top link below, you can check it out. And he came from a concert or event photography background, and he had this really expensive 70 to 200 Sony lens. It was like a Sony G Master Mark III 70 to 200. It was like 3K, like $3,000, right? And when you want to do portraits now, you don't need that lens anymore. You don't need a 70 to 200 to do portraits. So I told him, sell that lens, make like 1800 from it or something like that, and then use the rest of that money to either buy a cheaper version of that lens, or don't get that lens, or like a different lens, or don't get any other lens, and use that money to budget photo shoots. Now you can imagine how much $2,000 can go with budgeting your photo shoots. Like, I would always suggest, and I budget my photo shoots at around $100 to like $250, $300. So that already is like 5+ photo shoots, or like 6 photo shoots right there that you could fund at high quality. And that's at the maximum if you spend like $300, which you probably won't. But a studio, I don't know how much a studio costs in your area, but a studio will cost like $100, $120, $150, whatever. So you can imagine, you can do that for like almost an entire year, basically. This year alone, I've spent about just over $1,000 on photo shoot projects, but that's in the space of like 10 months now. So it's been October now. And that has made me my money back. It sounds like a lot of money, like, oh my God, you spent over $1,000 on photo shoots, but it's like, I've made my money back easily tenfold from those photo shoots. Because imagine if I just waited for a client to book me in and just like, they just should trust me that I could create amazing work for them, I wouldn't have been able to make that money. But making that initial investment and to show off what I can do would eventually book me those clients. Because right now, you think that's your gear. You think that's the case of your gear. You think your gear is what is gonna book you shoots. No. Obviously there's a limitation. Obviously you want to get some decent gear to take some decent photos, but overall you don't need a $3,000 lens. You don't need this really expensive amount of gear. Maybe when you're really high up and you're making shit tons of money, you want to just get it because you can afford it. But for right now, you don't need that. You've got all I need: camera, one lens, 1 or 2 lenses. This is a Canon R6. I want to eventually upgrade to a Canon R5, but Canon R6 with a 24 to 70 EF. Canon, system, native system, whatever you want to call it. This is about, now if you want to buy this used, it's about like $900, $1,000. The lens is about the same. So you're talking like less than $2,000 on this setup right here. That guy's lens, by the way, was $3K. That one lens alone cost more than this setup that I use for all of my paid client bookings and even my free shoots. And yeah, you don't need, it shows you don't need to spend a bunch of money on these lenses or cameras. You actually would rather use most of that money towards a photo shoot. My chair is so squeaky, what the fuck? But like you can actually invest most of that money into photo shoot projects and create professional looking work because you're maximizing the potential of that shoot. Again, you don't need to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars on each photo shoot that you do. You could literally just spend like up to $100 on a photo shoot, which is not a lot of money compared to the gear that you buy. You know what I mean? If you spent $3,000 on a lens, if you just put that towards photo shoots, that's like how many, I need to make the math real quick, right? That's like 30 $100 photo shoots right there. That could 100% make your money back from those photo shoots, by the way. So yeah, clients care about the actual work that you're creating, not the fucking $3,000 lens that you own. Just be willing to put money towards the shoot if it's needed. Some shoots might not require any money. Maybe you want to do an outdoor shoot and anything like that, like the styling is already done for you, or like you don't need to pay anyone or anything like that, and you've already got the gear, it's free, whatever. You don't have to spend money, but you should be able to if you wanted to. And you notice that you're going to be able to create much high quality work compared to the photographer that isn't willing to do that aren't willing to put any money towards their shoots because they're like, no, I should not invest more money. It stops on my gear, it shouldn't keep going. Like, no. It keeps on going. You put some passion into it, you create some amazing work, and you will land and make way more money than that photographer. And the Portfolio Mastery course will teach you exactly how to build up the perfect portfolio and how to run your business as a photographer without spending hours upon hours a day trying to do so, enabling you to balance out your current 9-to-5 or university job or whatever it is with your photography while maximizing your photography progress. You'll gain this sense of clarity of what type of clients that you actually want to work for and want to attract. Learn about what type of work that you need to create and not waste time doing a bunch of fluff. Photo projects that won't even take you far and won't even land you clients. Learn about how you can make work that will attract the type of clients that you want and invest money into the photo shoots that will actually make you money back. I'm not just talking about technical stuff like compositions and rule of thirds. I'm talking about the business side, the business strategies. If you have zero portfolio, zero client base right now, I'm going to help you get to landing your next clients. You can see the modules on the screen right now. You can see what I'm covering. Pricing, networking tips, social media marketing, how I promote myself on social media, how I'm able to get client bookings through Instagram. I tell you how to do all of that. So if you want to check that out and turn your photography into a full-time career, then check out the course in the top link below. And a little bonus reason why you feel like this is a hobby and not a career and a business, you lack social media presence. You just don't post enough on social media. By the way, you don't just have to post every time you do a photo shoot. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I haven't shot in a while, so I can't post anything. There's a lot of different things that you can post, but a little tip that I can give you, shoot multiple looks on each photo shoot that you do. And by looks, I'm talking about different styling, like a different outfit, a different location, and maybe even different type of a model, maybe different lighting technique, etc. Because that will create the illusion of multiple shoots. Like, imagine if you do a photo shoot and you do 3 outfits, maybe even 2 to 3 different lighting setups, and you do different location or different set design, like a different colored backdrop, you almost look like you did like 2 to 3, 4, 5 photo shoots in one single photo shoot. And you can imagine you can create a lot more content around that. Like, I'm able to create 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of content around a single photo shoot that doesn't even feel repetitive. It doesn't even feel like I'm just repeating the same thing. Like, I feel like I'm creating fresh content every single time. You can post all sorts of different types of content, montage reels, behind the scenes. There's obviously the Instagram post, like the photo post itself of the photos. It could be a lighting breakdown or something like that, because this is what is going to help you build trust with the audience and the client base that you have online. And you're just gonna look so much more professional because you have an official Instagram account for your photography. You're not just posting a bunch of random shit on there. Like, you probably get embarrassed to show your Instagram. Like, comment down below if this is you right now, or it used to be you, where someone would ask for your Instagram because you said you did photography, and you're like, oh, they're kind of resentful of showing it. It's like, okay, and I don't really post on there, and you have like 1 or 2 posts on there of some random shit or anything like that. Like, no, like, you want to be proud to show off your Instagram, proud to show off your LinkedIn page or your Twitter. I don't know what it is, like whatever social media that you're using. I'm like, yeah, I'm a photographer. This is what I got on there. You got your whole portfolio on there. You got all these posts. You got all these cool pieces of content on there, all your work, and it's just gonna look great. But you don't do that right now. You probably don't even have a professional Instagram account, which is a big red flag, by the way. You need to have at least a professional Instagram account for your photography so you can show it off. Because the truth is, clients do use social media nowadays. It is 2025. Photographers, or not photographers, like clients, potential clients that could hire photographers and looking for photographers, they do use Instagram. I'm not saying that's the only way you're going to be able to get work. Obviously, you can start by emailing and cold outreaching and stuff like that. I teach all that in the program, by the way. You can check it out. Like, more detail about emails and everything like that. But a lot of the times it's going to be through social media. It's going to be through like you coming up on that algorithm, or they already followed you because someone else followed you or something like that. And this is how you're going to be seen. So if you don't have nothing on there, how can you get booked? And if you want to learn about how I approach my Instagram account and how I'm able to get 100,000 plus page views on my Instagram account every single month, I teach that in the Portfolio Mastery course. Learn about my process when it comes to posting on Instagram. Just learn about how I think about social media marketing, learn about how I approach my business online, how I post my content, my strategies, etc. That gets me a lot of page visits and likes and views. That does eventually lead to paid clients. Also learn about networking, find the creatives that you always wanted to work for, find models to shoot with, find stylists to work with, makeup artists, etc. Because when you work with those types of people, especially on a professional level, you're going to be able to create professional looking work that clients will want to hire you for. Even learn about the more intricate details of mindset. Obviously, this video has been more of a mindset shift right now of like, you have to treat this like a business if you want to make that transition. You can't start like, oh, it's just a hobby, I don't care. Like, no, you need to take this seriously if you want to turn this into your full-time career. There's already people on the program that are making serious progress, that have 9-to-5 jobs, that they're in university and they're working towards a really high demanding career, and they want to pursue their photography at the same time, and they have very little free time. I show them how they can maximize that free time within the course. So what are you waiting for? Turn your dream into becoming a full-time portrait photographer and quit your 9-to-5 job by clicking the top link below and joining the program or buying the course. Anyway, that's it for the video though. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. Like, subscribe, comment, all that type of stuff to boost the algorithm. Yeah, that's it. Click on this video right here to learn more about portrait photography, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.